Profile share via email report story. I can make a promise, third POV. Izuku opened his eyes. His first day of school. Let alone the school he dreamed of going to since he was little. Everyone who was successful in life went to this school, so it has been his dream to go here and to make his mom proud. Izuku got out of bed, put on his uniform, ate breakfast, then left to go to UA. He walked to UA. Izuku couldn't help but feel lonely the whole way, due to nobody being next to him. He was used to Ochako and him walking to school together. If she didn't make it in, then he was all alone. From now on he made it in the building and was now roaming the halls trying to look for his class. 1A, 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 ah, here it is, he mumbled. Izuku opened the door, and the first thing he saw was a guy with blue hair scolding Katsuki Bakugo. Another year with him, I guess, Izuku thought. Bakugo noticed Izuku at the door and glared at him. Hey, Izuku, you made it in, a voice said from behind him. He immediately turned around, recognizing that voice. Ah, Ochako, Izuku exclaimed happily. Get to your seats. A tired voice that said I don't care in its own tone said from behind the two. The class went quiet as the two at the door made their way to their own seats, across the room from each other. Izuku wanted to sit by Ochako like he did every year. Not having her by his side felt strange to him. My name is Aizawa, I am your homeroom teacher. Now, I am going to hand out these papers. It will ask you questions that you have to answer. A test. Aizawa said, giving the people in the front row papers. They take one, then pass it behind them. The cycle continued till everyone had a paper. All right, you will begin when I tell you to. You have an hour to complete this. Everyone gets out a pencil. Began. Everyone began writing on their papers. A kid with yellow hair with something like a black lightning bolt in it was visibly struggling. Bakugo was zooming through it like it was nothing. He may act dumb, but he's not dumb. Uraraka was calmly writing. Midoriya couldn't help but look back at Uraraka. He missed her being by his side. She wasn't there when he walked to school, she wasn't there sitting next to him. Are things already changing between us? The thought made his heart sting. He went back to writing on his paper. An hour went by. All right, put your writing utensils down, time's up. Aizawa said, getting out of his sleeping bag after taking a nap on the floor. Everyone put their pencils and pens down. Now you are going to put these uniforms on, and go outside. Aizawa held up a blue uniforms with white lines spelling out UA. The class puts on the uniforms then go outside. Great, you're all here. Now, we are going to give you another test. A fitness test. The fitness grand pacer test, Aizawa said. You are going to be tested on strength and speed. Give it your all, don't hold back on anything, or you will be expelled. Now, go Bakugo, Midoriya, Kirishima, and Iida, go line up on that track. Aizawa told them. They went and lined up on the track. The rest of you, just watch, Aizawa told the rest of the class. The class got out from behind them and stood off the track. All right, when I blow this whistle, you are going to race, sprint, all the way around this track. Aizawa said, holding up a whistle. They got ready to race. The whistle blew and they took off running. One sprint around a field later, Bakugo comes in first, Iida second, Midoriya third, and Kirishima last. Sorry, Kiri. They went and stood with the rest of the class. Wow, Izuku, you were fast. Ochako said with amazement and a bright smile. Midoriya blushed. I wasn't that fast. He nervously said, rubbing his neck. Good. Next is Mina, Uraraka, Kaminari, and Shiro. You all, line up on the track. Aizawa said. They all lined up, the whistle blew, and they ran. Kaminari came in first, Mina second, Shiro third, and Uraraka fourth. You did good, Midoriya said once she made it back to where the class is promoted stories. You'll also like, I Can't Lose You. 23.7K 622. Warning spoiler warning. Mentions of the events leading up to, including and following the internship arc warning Katsuki has always been bad at expressing his feelings but when H. Playboy Hollow right pointing triangle Bakudaku. 244K 7.7K but that isn't going to stop me from taking back what was rightfully mine from the fucking beginning. Izuku and Uraraka are best friends, nothing could ever tear the wedding bells. 133K 2.6K. 5 years after graduation, Deku and Uraraka are finally getting married. All their friends and relatives are excited and ready to help them to make it the happiest day. Check mark one-sided. 132K 5K. This is a Baku Deku fanfic. Izuku's dream of being a hero changes after he got diagnosed to be quirkless. That dream had become a distant a fantasy but he soon twisted. The Seeing Hero version 1. 4.5K 65. Izuku gets to have a normal childhood and even gets to be really close friends Bakugo. His dad is also present in his life and he's really cool. Once he starts high school, just feeling better. 100K 2.5K. After a long break Izuku returns changed and feeling better than ever. What will the class think of their cinnamon roll? This story goes through, in short, of his Chan. New love, Izutoga. 64.7K 930. Read this description you will need it promise me this is my first fanfic. Warning. There is mature content in here. This story is featuring Armik Izuku getting C. Yeah, but I feel as if I could have done better. Uraraka said, stretching her arms. Midoriya glanced off to the side. Yeah, you probably could have, he said. Uraraka blankly stared at him. Midoriya waved his hands in front of him. Not in an offensive way. He quickly stated. The rest of the class takes their turns racing. Next, they went to the gym. Alright class, we are going to be doing push-ups. You are going to partner up with someone. Once you do that, you are going to go somewhere and when I say start, your partner is going to watch you and count how many push-ups you do. I am going to tell you when you go up and down. When I say up, you go up. When I say down, you go down. It's simple. Once you do a full up, down, and back up again, that is a push-up and that's what you count. Aizawa explains. Once he was done talking everyone partnered up. Izuku and Ochako, of course, picked each other for their partners. No cheating. If I catch that you added a little bit of points, or you took a little break, then you are disqualified and you fail this test. Aizawa added, glaring at the students. The class gulped. Yes sir. They nervously said. Okay now pick one of your partners to go first. The class started to pick on of their partners to go first. Kirishima, paired up with Bakugo, wanted to go first. Saying something along the lines of, manly men go first. Or something like that. I can go first, Midoriya told his partner, Uraraka. Ochako silently nodded and let Izuku go first. You can't fail this. You can't embarrass myself in front of her. Izuku thought with determination as he got on his hands and knees. Okay, you've got this. He closed his eyes and took deep breaths. For some weird reason, he wanted to impress her. Does everyone know who's going first? Aizawa asked the class, who all nodded and said, yes sir. Aizawa nodded. Okay, now when I say up, that's when you start. Aizawa instructed. The ones going first got prepared. Up, they all went into the up position. Down, they went down. It continued like this until there was only 3 of them left, Kirishima, Todoroki, and Midoriya. They were 50 push-ups in. Down, Midoriya almost clasped. Up, he was breathing heavily, trembling. He didn't want to lose. He was not losing. He was doing this for her. The thought almost made Izuku clasp, again. What the hell? Well, it's kind of true. I can't think about this right now. I've got to focus. Midoriya continued the torture that is push-ups. Come on, keep going Izuku. You are at 59. Ochako cheered him on, beat their asses shitty hair. Bakugo encouraged Kirishima. Bakugo didn't want to lose to Midoriya. Todoroki didn't get any encouragement. He was with Tokiyami, a kid who didn't talk much. It was good partnership, due to the fact that both of them are pretty quiet. Actually, Todoroki got a nod of encouragement. He appreciated it finally. They were at 70 push-ups. Kirishima came in third. He died right as they got to 70. Bakugo was pretty disappointed, but impressed that Kirishima made it to 70. Even though he would never admit it, Bakugo was surprised, impressed and even proud. Pretty manly, huh? Kirishima asked Bakugo once his breathing was back to normal. Bakugo rolled his eyes and focused on Todoroki and Midoriya. Now that Kirishima was out, it was just the two of them. Izuku was trembling violently, visibly suffering. Todoroki was suffering too, but won't show it to make his opponent think that this is nothing to him. They're at 78 now and they feel like they are going to die any second now honestly. Midoriya has been working out since his second year in middle school. He wanted to get stronger so he could stand up for himself when he gets bullied. But he always felt like the bullies were stronger, no matter how many squats he did. Down, they went to the down position. But this time was different. This time they stayed down. The teacher still hasn't set up, he was just standing there. A small smirk made its way to the teacher's face. Midoriya was sure that he would flop anytime now. He didn't want to lose, not like this, not in front of Ochako. If he fails now, what kind of male strip, what kind of strong guy would he ever be? It's first or last, and he chooses first. Up, the suffering of down push-up position was over and it was back to normal. Todoroki finally showed signs of suffering. He was starting to tremble. Come on, Izuku. You got this. You can't lose. Ochako cheered. Izuku definitely can't lose now. Ochako was rooting for him. He feels as if he were to go to the down position one more time, he was gonna flop. Down, he suffered, long and hard. Half of the class was cheering for Todoroki, the other half was cheering for him. Out of all the voices cheering his name though, one stood out, and that voice was Uraraka's. Her voice was the one that was keeping him going. He didn't understand why though. He didn't have time to think about it, he had to focus. They were at 86. Izuku's breathing was loud, his arms were sore, sweat covered him and he looked like he just got out of a swimming pool. His hands were starting to slip, but he kept his posture and pushed through it. He has to keep going, he has to win. It isn't a choice, it's a must. They kept pushing through, they kept going, both not wanting to lose, both suffering, trembling, sweating a ocean. Up, 90 inches down, breathing heavily. Up, 91 inches down, arms could give out any minute now. Up, remember don't overwork yourself. Down, a clicking sound can be heard from Izuku's arms as he went into the down position. Izuku, what was that? Ochako asked after hearing the clicking sound. It made her concerned. Wheeze wheeze, he couldn't talk. If he tried, all that came out was wheezing and coughing. Okay, Izuku you can stop now. Ochako said, concerned. Down, Izuku shook his head as the clicking sound was heard again as he went into the down position. 98. Izuku clasped. He stayed on the ground, wheezing, breathing heavily. Todoroki kept going 2 more times, making it to 100 before giving in. Once Todoroki catches his breath, they both get up and shake hands, congratulating each other. Midoriya make his way back to Ochako, who also congratulates him. Finally, it was number two's turns. They all line up, getting ready. You got this, Ochako. I believe in you. Izuku encouraged. Up, the signal was given and it starts. It wasn't much as a battle as the first one. In the end, Ochako got fifth and Bakugo was in first. Okay, good job everyone. That's the end of the test. You can go back to homeroom and do whatever you want for the rest of the day, as long as you don't disturb my nap. Aizawa said, getting into his sleeping bag. The class made their way back to homeroom. Kaminari tapped Kirishima on the back. Once Kirishima turned around, Kaminari introduced himself. Everyone used this free time to make new friends. Kirishima made his way to Midoriya's desk. Hi, the name is Kirishima. Nice to meet you, Kirishima exclaimed, pointing his thumb at himself. Ah, my name is Midoriya, Izuku Midoriya. Midoriya introduced himself. Eijiro Kirishima. Kirishima stuck out his hand for Midoriya to shake, which Midoriya took the handshake. Man, you and Todoroki with those push-ups. That was insanely manly, Kirishima exclaimed. Ah, thanks. Midoriya shifted his eyes, remembering what he was thinking during the push-ups. He still doesn't understand why he wanted to impress her so badly. He looks over at Uraraka, who was talking to all the other girls. The girls all decided to group together and become best friends. Hey guys, a excited voice said behind Kirishima. Hey, aren't you the one who was doing push-ups with Todoroki? A guy with yellow hair with a black lightning bolt said. And lost, he added. Midoriya didn't like that last part. He felt like a fool for trying so hard and losing. Losing right in front of Uraraka. What a fool. Izuku quickly shook his head. Aren't you the one who was majorly struggling during the written test? And you have no authority to call me out for losing to Todoroki. 1. He's strong, and 2. You got nowhere near second place. Midoriya shot back. Kaminari nervously sweated. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you, Kaminari said, putting his hands up in defense. But, dude, you are also uber strong. You made it to 98. Oh, by the way, my name is Denki Kaminari. Nice to meet you. Kaminari stuck out his hand for Izuku to shake. Izuku took it. Sorry for saying all that stuff. I was just defending myself because I thought you were trying to make fun of me. My name is Izuku Midoriya. Also nice to meet you, Izuku said. The three talked for the rest of class, then the bell rang and class ended. Hey, Ochako, ready to walk home? Izuku said, making his way to Uraraka's desk. Oh, yeah, Ochako said, a little startled because Izuku just randomly appeared out of nowhere. Oh, and Izuku, this is Tenya Iida, Uraraka happily said, pointing beside her, to Iida. He will be joining us on walking home, she continued, grabbing her bag. Izuku felt a little rotten after she said that. He doesn't know why though. He's just her friend, right? As you may have heard, my name is Tenya Iida. It is a pleasure to meet you. Iida formally introduced himself. You don't have to be so formal. My name is Izuku Midoriya. Nice to meet you too, Izuku replied. They made their way out of the building, then started their walk home. So, how did you two meet? Izuku asked, breaking the silence. He turned around from his seat in front of me and introduced himself. Ochako replied. Iida nodded. How did you two meet? Iida asked the two. You seem to have known each other for a long time. You two are on first name basis. Iida pointed out. Well, we've known each other since we were 4. I was the new kid in school and it was recess. I was sitting lonely on a swing and he ran up to me and asked me to play. Ochako explained with a smile, remembering that day. Being the new kid can be scary. Iida said, fiddling with his glasses. Yeah, Ochako agreed. Iida suddenly stopped. This is my turn, so I must part ways from you guys. Guessing you guys don't turn here. I will see you guys tomorrow. Iida said, turning. See you tomorrow. Uraraka waved goodbye. He acts like he has a stick up his butt. Izuku said once Iida was out of earshot. Ochako giggled a little. Yeah, she agreed with a smile. Izuku looked at her. Do you like him? He asked out of nowhere. Ochako looked at Izuku, raising a brow. Then laughed. No way, Uraraka said through giggles. Izuku suddenly felt relieved. They made it back to their houses. Well, here's where we part ways, my dear friend. Ochako dramatically said. It sure is, my dearest Ochako. Izuku said as dramatically. I must go now. I don't know when I can arrive back, but you shall surely await my next appearance, correct? Ochako asked, walking backwards to her house. I shall, Izuku said, starting to walk to his house. Well, then, good rest of your time. And, till we meet again, dearest Izuku. Ochako said, bowing as she walked backwards to her front door. Till we shall. Izuku bowed as she opened her front door and walked in not before bowing one last time. Izuku lies awake in his bed, thinking about his sudden feelings, thinking about Ochako. He couldn't get his mind off of her all day today. He did 98 push-ups for her. He didn't like Iida walking home with them. He felt relieved when she said that she didn't leave and that was where he stopped his thoughts. He liked that she didn't like Iida more than him. And Iida's just a friend. Things are changing for sure. What's up? Feelin' them dank memes vibes you. Uno reverse. Alright, I'll bring my crackhead self somewhere else. Peace. Weird kid. Where stories live. Discover now.